For the second installment of merging body parts together, I'm going to put a tail on this thing. Now I'm running into some different problems with this. Mostly that I need to get rid of the cougar tail, which is really, really easy to do. And also, the tail is going to come in here, so you can see this, a realism thing. The tail is going to come in and come behind his hip. It's not going to merge with his hip, okay? The tail comes off his spine, so the hip's going to be in front of it. So I'm going to have to basically make a hard edge there where that changes. So we're going to do that too. Now, to make this more natural, because otherwise the tail is going to come in here and just stop at his butt, I'm going to bring this tail texture, this crocodile texture, all the way up his spine, because I think it's going to look cooler. So I'm going to bring this back to 100%, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to duplicate this, so I have two of them. Okay. I'm going to make one invisible for a second. I'm going to get rid of this leg, because that leg is going to become a big problem. So I'm going to go to my first tail layer. I'm going to go to my clone stamp, turn my caps lock off, and I am going to hold down my Alt Option button, click over here, and what's cool about this is that it shows you where your texture is going to paint. So I can line up the scales with the existing scales. Bam, leg's gone. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take a second tail. That's why the leg just came back. I'm going to move this and rotate. And see if I can line this up here so that it feels pretty natural. I think that'll work. Double click that to fix that in place. And then I'm going to put a mask on this like we did before. So Command Control click on the picture. I'm going to come down here, hit the layer mask. And that's going to allow me to paintbrush, black, about 25%, soft edge. Let's roll. So I'm going to blend this out and blend these two textures together. I don't want to go right up against the edge there. But what I'm really looking for is this part of that spiny, spiky thing merges in there pretty nicely. Now there are some slightly better ways or more fancy things we can do with this, but for now this will work. Foundations class after all. Get rid of some of that. Went a little bit too far, so I'll put some white and bring that back in, and there we go. That's going to get blended out here in a minute. Okay, so now I've got this tail texture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to merge these together. So I click on the layer, I come up here, and remember, almost anything you want to do with layers you can do by using the right click. So I right click here, and I'm going to merge down. What this does is it merges the top layer with the layer below it. Bam, that's all one thing now. All right, so need to get rid of this cougar tail. I'm like, okay, that's going to look kind of silly. So I am going to blend in some sky and cover it up. Now remember, I've got a backup of my cougar in my originals folder just in case. I go to my clone stamp, fuzzy edge 100% because I'm covering something up. Slightly bigger. Actually, no, I'm not going to go slightly bigger. I'm going to hold my Alt button down out here in the sky, and then I am going to paint sky over the tail. That's it. Okay. Sometimes this is easier to do with large smooth textures like this. It gets trickier with smaller ones. I'm going to go to a smaller texture here, or a smaller brush, and sample, and I'm going to erase that just so that transition feels a little more natural for when I put my tail in. Okay. So now I'm going to bring my tail back in like so. And I'm going to erase blend this out. So the only issue I'm going to have is that I need the hip to be in front of the tail right here. So I'm going to command click on the tail itself, go up, make sure I'm on the tail layer, make my new mask. Now I want this edge to be pretty sudden, so I'm going to paint in black. Remember, anything that is black is blocked. Fuzzy edge is okay, 100% is okay in this case. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to, oops, wrong tool, paintbrush. Let's try that again. Soft edge, it's on 100%. There we go. All right, so I'm going to paint in a little bit of an edge there, give him a little bit of a hip. Okay, now that I've got a hip established, so his butt is going to be in front of the tail, I'm going to drop this down to about 25%-ish. I'm going to go with a much larger brush, and I'm going to blend this out. Remember that your goal is to get rid of the edge. You should not have an edge where one photograph ends and the other one begins. Up here, get rid of that leg. And this should kind of merge back in with the texture I already have, so I'm not too worried about it. Zoom in close. Always zoom in close at the end just to check to make sure that your work was right, okay? I've got no edges showing up. That's still feeling pretty natural. There we go. All right, so now I've got a situation where the tail comes from behind the hip, and then rather than just ending there and having no sort of textural connection to the rest of the body, giving that texture up on the spine and having it connect all the way across the creature makes it work a little bit better for me.